I'm really excited to have up next Andy Cotgreave. He is the Senior Technical Evangelist at Tableau. Sounds like they've made your job very easy. The product pretty much evangelizes itself, I've heard.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, hi Rich. I was a customer 8 years ago, and one of the first customers in the UK at the University of Oxford. Just fell in love with it. You know, I'm here now. It obviously transformed my career. But then at Oxford, it was just such an incredible piece of software to use internally, and then I started blogging about Tableau and talking about Tableau to customers and anybody, my wife, friends, family. And after 4 years of that, Tableau eventually were like, well, come on, Andy, it's time to get you on board. So
we'll pay you to do this now.
Yeah, and they do. Honestly, it's sometimes it's crazy. They pay me to do something that I absolutely love doing. So I'm
fantastic. So what's your favorite part of the job? I know you get to do a lot of writing, a lot of speaking, a lot of roving around. What do you? What do you really look forward to?
I love standing up and speaking in front of audiences, so that's amazing. But then the thing about that is sharing the things I've learned about Tableau and data visualization. I do feel really driven to try and help people see data in better ways. So that's a really key part of the job. But the other thing is places like conference. This place is amazing. Chances to meet with customers.
Absolutely.
I manage the Zen Masters as well. So really helping meet some of the most passionate customers we have. It's really rewarding.
Excellent. And could you tell us a little bit more? We heard a little bit about Zen Masters and what that program is. Tell us a little bit about.
So the Zen Masters it's a program where we recognize our most dedicated, most skilled, but the customers, but the ones who share it the most, right? It's it's fine being an expert at Tableau, but it's the people who are driven to share that knowledge and help others be better at Tableau. So we see them on the community, we see them on blogs, we see them doing custom videos, they talk at user groups, and each year we select a group of people that are the Zen Masters. This year there's 21. We're going to announce them live on stage before the keynote tomorrow morning.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah,
great.
and they get some great perks. They get access to the dev team, early releases of the product. It's a really good two-way relationship, and they're a huge asset for the
Fantastic.
community.
And I've never heard of that. I'm an analyst as well. I travel a lot, do a lot of conferences.
Yeah.
I've never heard of another company doing something like that. Is it something you guys have pretty much innovated?
No. Other companies. I mean, Salesforce and Microsoft both have MVP programs, which is a similar kind of thing. Ultrix have an Ultrix Ace program. In fact, 3 of our Zen Masters are also Ultrix Aces, which is they're really elite groups. But this is the 4th year we've run the program, and it's been extremely rewarding getting to know these guys, because they're pushing the product into just extreme places, doing really innovative stuff, but also just doing the basic helping customers.
Absolutely cool. Yeah. And what were some of the previous Zen Masters? What pushed them over? What were some of the contributions and things they did where you decided to include them?
Well, let's think of a couple of examples. One example would be Mark Jackson. He works at a health organization and does incredible dashboards for his organization. It just helps people see their health data and manages the enterprise server, right? So he's doing a great job. But he also does a really good blog. And over the last few years, he's done really crazy projects. Okay. So this week, I'm on Twitter, right? And the most viral tweet I've put out was a photo of Mark Jackson's implementation of Monopoly in Tableau, right? Now Monopoly, so you need a board, you need pieces, you need to manage cash flow, properties, buying, selling, go to jail in a data visualization product, right? So the thing that's amazing about that kind of thing is that it's not a practical application of Tableau, right? But it's something that makes you think outside the box. Other people get inspired and see how all these things can work together and think, okay, can we take that and use it in our business? And Mark's very good at sharing how he does these things. And then other Zen Masters like Craig Bloodworth, he helped me just a few weeks ago. They're doing the basic stuff, but people need basic help as well. It's just prolific help. Some really good stuff.
Absolutely. And having your fingers on the hot button so well, can you give us a picture of how data visualization has changed over the last 3 to 5 years? What's going on right now, and how that's going to influence the future?
Yeah, it was a good question. I think if you let's go back 20 years, right?
Okay.
Excel, first time we had Windows and graphics cards.
Sure, it was big.
But the developers, they thought, we've got graphics cards, let's make 3D, shiny terrible visualizations, right? Really bad things.
Completely.
Because they thought making things pretty was good. And then around the 2000s, start of the century, people like Stephen Few said, well, look, we need to rein things back. Visualization is about allowing people to make sense of the data and see what they need to take action on very, very quickly.
Right.
So he kind of led, he very much inspired early Tableau development as well about making data visualization functional. It's got to work with the cognitive system so that people can see their data fast and efficiently. But then I think around the last 5 years, so to come to the answer, there was then a recognition that, well, if you just focus on functionality, people don't engage in that stuff so much, right? So if you've got operational dashboards in an organization and you need to know if something on a production line is not working, you need that straight away.
Right.
But then as data journalism came forward, journalists need things that engage people. It's a bar chart on itself isn't going to pull people in. So then I think in the last 5 years, we've seen this move away from pure functionality in towards, understanding how do you bring in the beauty and the engaging visual effects while maintaining something that's functional. And people like Alberto Cairo is somebody who's at the vanguard of that. And again, a lot of our Zen masters really leaders in data visualization and visual design, and that's something I've tried to think about and write about as well for the last 5 years.
Cool.
So it's the tension between functionality and beauty, because you need people to be able to understand it, but also want to engage with it.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
And then you've got to have your fingers on the pulse of like where IoT is going and how that's going to influence
Yeah.
all this. What are in your imaginative future world? What are we going to be doing in 3 or 5 years?
Well, the IoT. I used to have a Fitbit, right?
Did you really?
Yeah, and the Fitbit was amazing. That dashboard, suddenly I was measuring steps, right?
Yep.
So this was consumer IoT.
Yep.
And I learned something new about my life, right? And I could adjust my walking patterns, right? And that was brilliant. Then after a year, the strap broke on my Fitbit. I was like, should I replace this strap? And I didn't, because the analytics that Fitbit allowed me to use didn't change since day one. So on day one, it was telling me how many steps I was making. Was I taking more steps than my friends or not?
Right.
But after a year, I kind of knew that, so that innovative piece of information was just a commodity fact now. I just knew it anyway. And so I didn't buy a new strap. And when I go around and I do a presentation about this now, and I ask for a show of hands, who else is a lapsed Fitbit or fitness tracker wearer?
Sure.
And often there are more hands than there are people go up there than people who are wearing fitness trackers.
Sure.
So I think so from a consumer point of view, for consumer Internet of Things, organizations need to provide the data in such a way that people can then ask the subsequent questions beyond those, wow, 10,000 steps, that's amazing, but now I need to go beyond that. Now, actually with Tableau's web data connectors, we can now connect to the Fitbit data, and I've got my Runkeeper data, so we can actually get hold of it ourselves. But the organizations should make that easier for anybody to do. In the moment, if you've got Tableau and a web data connector, you're good to go. But
sure.
So I think consumer IoT needs to think about subsequent and developing analytics. I think industrial IoT is in a good place because predictive analytics, monitoring systems, that's operational stuff, and there's huge potential there. I think.
Absolutely, yeah, it definitely seems like industrial IoT is way ahead of the consumer space, and we do see a lot of little trinket kind of devices that my phone can track my steps too. This is becoming a little hub right here. But so do you have some examples of being out in the field, working with your customers, seeing how they do stuff? Obviously, it has to be public information of industrial IoT applications and how a customer that you worked with found some cool, innovative.
I'll tell you what, I don't have. And I haven't worked directly with any industrial IoT customers yet. All right.
No worries. What about just opening it up, like innovative, even the Zen masters? You had the example with Mark Jackson at Monopoly. He was actually here and was talking about that.
He was talking about it, it's an amazing project. So those guys are doing some amazing stuff. So another Joshua Milligan, he's implemented loads of games, Blackjack, Tic-Tac-Toe, and a Star Trek game in Tableau. So that's really useful. But then a lot of the Zen masters are pushing the practical application of Tableau completely. So we've got one of the new Zen masters this year is Tamas Foldi from Hungary. He's a consultant in Hungary, and he knows more about Tableau Server than pretty much any of the Tableau Server developers. Right.
Cool.
So he's, to an extent, he's hacking Tableau server and kind of, really pushing what things can do. So using the REST API capabilities, looking at the administration, he's actually helping Tableau learn new ways to take server. We actually are working with him because he knows so much and he knows it from that customer's perspective. So that's a great example of how the Tableau, how the Zen masters have that practical solutions to help us.
Absolutely. And being obviously an evangelist, you've got to be aware of other competitors, products and where things are. What would you say are like the best aspects of Tableau? It could be features, it could be ease of use that really folks come to you guys for.
Yeah, it's a really easy answer to that.
Okay.
And it goes back to the Fitbit thing.
Okay.
Here's a beautiful dashboard, right? Brilliant. That's a great dashboard. A great dashboard will inspire more questions, right? If I see something, it's like, well, what happened there? Let me dive into it.
Right.
And what Tableau allows you to do, that I think in a better way than anybody else in the industry, is allow you to then edit that, dive in, down. Right? You can drill down. You can just blow that dashboard open, go into design mode, and completely transform it just by dragging and dropping, or even using your finger on the iPad. It's that easy. And so for us, dashboards are just not dead ends, right? And I think that's
it's not
key.
The end, it's the start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A springboard, right? It's not a dashboard, it's a springboard.
That's
what
cool.
a cliche, but it's such
I
a
like that. Believe it or not, I've not heard that cliche.
Right? Yeah. So basically, I think it's the start, not the end point, and that's our special sauce.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And what about? Do you have some underutilized features that you think folks don't leverage as much as they should, or when you look at the product, can you say more folks should be?
That's I think. So I started using Tableau in version 3.5. No maps, no parameters, no table calculations. Barely had dashboards. It was actually quite easy to then learn the entirety of the product. And then each release gets bigger and bigger.
Sure.
And so it is now. It's a bigger product. It's like, Excel's a huge product, but we all invested the time to use that. Underused products. The thing is, I think customers can have the ability to find the things they need to find, right? So I know I don't use level of detail calculations enough, but for the customers that need, when they get to that need, then they can go and learn the free training videos. Just go and look at the community, find out how to do what they need to do, and they'll go and do it. So I'm not using LOD calcs enough. I'm a heavy user of formatting. I do a lot of that, but some people don't use formatting enough. So I think it depends on the individual.
So use case dependent.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What about other products that work really well with Tableau when you're out there talking to other folks and they say, I know that you guys can integrate pretty much against everything. You can pull data from any data sources. Yeah. Do you see certain products deployed more often with you and they kind of do different things? Or?
Well, it's yes and no. We've got over 40 data connectors,
right.
And they're all A-list, fully supported.
Sure.
So, for every customer, if they've got that data, then you're there, and we've got first-line support if things aren't working out right.
Right.
Products such as our key sponsors this week, Alteryx and Informatica, they're brilliant at these data wrangling things. Tableau is slowly adding some ETL features, with the new union queries, better data prep. We're slowly doing some of that, but essentially we're the top layer, and some of our big partners and big sponsors like Alteryx and Informatica are, they're good. They work well. And again, to come back to the Zen masters, a lot of them are Alteryx aces. So
Got
that's
it.
a good one.
And you see this also, like a lot of folks that started at the providing a data fabric layer, whatever, are starting to build their own visualization tools. Do you think there's starting to become a little bit of overlap in the systems? Do you guys? I'm sure you're not planning on building like a cloud data storage solution,
No.
but do you see any of them? I don't know. I guess the root of the question is, how can Tableau continue to innovate and stay ahead of as other folks build UIs on top of their products?
I think there's two aspects to that. First of all, we have close partnerships with a lot of the big technology firms.
Sure.
So AWS have obviously launched QuickSight and Spice, but at the same time, we also will be connecting to it straight out of the box.
Yep.
So we work with those partners as they develop things which have overlap, but again, we have the ability to connect to any data anywhere in the organization. So the technology partnerships are really good. But then I think that the thing that has always amazed me in 8 years of being involved with Tableau is our research team. Okay. We're investing more in R&D this year than the last 8 years combined, right?
Which
is amazing. I actually spent the summer in Seattle this year and got to hang out with the research team a little bit. And
Fun.
It's just so reinvigorating, inspiring to go and see that we don't just put features in because we think that'd be cool. It's like actually we have some of the leading thinkers in visual analytics in the world working for us, thinking, well, if we're going to do a feature, we'd better do it for the right reasons and with a lot of research backing it up. So that's an amazing, inspiring reason for me to be at Tableau.
How do you suppose you guys pick the right features? That's a tough question to answer, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
we have an ideas section on the community, right? So that's one way. Anybody can submit ideas and then vote them up and down. I know in version 9.0, I think we implemented 50 of those ideas.
Cool.
I don't remember the number on the most recent betas. So that's a key way of doing things. We work with the Zens, we consult them a lot. And I'm going to steal a metaphor from Francois, right? Francois, I just VP, right? But maybe he's, you think the features are going to be a bucket. You can put rocks in the bucket. Right. So they're the big things. They're the things, that are going to change the world for enterprise deployments, maybe. But then there's still gaps. So then you put in some pebbles, and they're, fairly big features, but ones that are just going to make people's lives a chunk better. And then finally, to really fill the bucket, it's the little grains of sand. And these are tiny little things. It just might be the way one box appears when you click something with your mouse. Tiny, subtle little things that actually end up with a huge amount of delight for customers because it just makes that life a bit more efficient. Right. So we're always finding that balance of which are the big rocks, which are the pebbles, and which are the grains of sand. And we have teams dedicated to each. And it means each time we do a new release, there's the big stuff and the small stuff that pleases everybody. But it's hard, and as we're up to 10,000, 20,000 customers, it's harder each time to please them all. We do have a finite amount of devs. Sure. And it's always a tension, but we try and get it right.
Awesome. Yeah. And because I've just been seeing the N and the V on your shirt, which I'm sure doesn't mean Nevada. Iron Viz.
Iron Viz.
So tell me what about Iron Viz?
This is one of the best bits about Tableau Conference. The conference is an amazing place. We have 3 competitions throughout the year for some advanced. Can you do an amazing visualization in Tableau?
Right.
Then the prize is to come and do live vizzing on the keynote stage in the Grand Garden Arena at the MGM. So you're building a visualization with Tableau in front of potentially 11,000 people.
Totally.
And it is amazing. They do it live. It's a big carnival. There's a massive cash prize. All the past winners of Iron Viz have gone on to do great things. Some of them are Zen Masters now. It's a really good event to go and watch, and I'm really delighted to be part of the presenter team this
Fantastic.
year.
And what's your role, and when is this happening?
So it's tomorrow morning. After the keynote.
Got it.
But it's in the Grand Garden Arena. I'm going to be in the crowd with the mic, asking people in the crowd their questions and their feelings, and speaking to some of the past winners as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Andy Cotgreave, thank you so much for coming and talking with us.
Thanks, Rich.
And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at Iron Viz.
Yeah, all right.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Take care. Thank you much.